You know, when I started this YouTube channel 22 months ago, I thought I was simply going to share my love of collage and junk journaling, the smell of coffee-dyed paper, the quiet rhythm of cutting and gluing. But what I didn't expect was how much of me would show up in this process. Not just the creative part, but the striving one, the self-doubting one, the shy one, the playful one, and the one that still secretly checks analytics before my morning coffee. So today, I want to share 10 things I have learned as a content creator through the many parts of me that I have been learning too. And as a bonus, you can find a link to a new free printable bonus page in the description below. And I will show you how I will use it to create a junk journal fold-out page that fits nicely into our October junk journal planner spread. Before we start, I would like to thank two people. Susan from I Totally Love It for the idea with the 10 lessons I have learned, and Rita from Crafty Little Journals for the idea for the fold out. So, when I had a look at what I have learned from my time as a content creator, I have done over 150 YouTube videos. And I was so surprised when I noticed a part of me that really wants to reach monetization. She imagines the little congratulations email from YouTube like it's a graduation certificate. What I've learned from her is that this isn't just about money. It's about feeling that what I give to the community matters actually. She is the one who reminds me that wanting to be valued is not the same as being vain. It's actually quite human. And that brings me straight to the second part I found inside myself, the impatient protector. That's the part that gets frustrated, the one who looks at the numbers and sighs. She thinks slow growth means failure. I've learned she's actually trying to protect me from disappointment. She is the part that learned long ago that it hurts to care deeply about something that doesn't get seen. So now, instead of silencing her, I thank her and I tell her that slow growth is still growth. Here I am cutting this piece of paper to size. It's a little bit smaller, here you can see it, than the page underneath. And here I'm folding the bottom up and the top down, and I leave a tiny little gap between the two. I'm eyeballing it here. It's somehow that they meet in the middle. So I crease it down and I crease the top one down as well. And I would like it to be able to fold up and down. I think I like the darker one on the bottom a little bit more. You can of course do it the other way around, or you can also use it sideways. Can you see? It folds up and down. Okay. That brings me also to another part that I encountered. This fold up or fold down of this closure thing I'm making here, I found when I was watching YouTube videos, and I found this adorable short video from Rita. And so I notice I have a comparing part. She scrolls through other creators' channels and whispers, look how beautiful this is, or look how fast they are growing. Look what they have done nicely. What I've learned from her is that comparison often hides a longing. It's not so much about being competitive, it's more a wish to belong. And when I listen closely, she is not saying you are not good enough or you are not measuring up. She is saying, I would like to be part of this awesome community. used my Distress Oxide ink to go around because it always brings it out a little bit stronger. You by now might know me, I love using my Distress Oxide ink. I also had printed out this page before and cut it out. I played around with it a little bit more, but if you print out a second piece and you have here like a round hole punch, I'm punching out 2 times 3, like I'm gluing them on top of each other. I would like to have 2, 1 in black, 1 in orange, and I'm using my art glitter glue to glue 3 of them on top of each other as little buttons. You will see how I use them to create the closure for my fold out. The next part I encountered, part number 4, is a very shy part, or it looked in the beginning as a very shy part. This part seems to hide behind the camera. She prefers showing my hands, as you can see here, rather than my face. And I used to think she was afraid of being seen, actually. But when I felt a little bit closer into that, what I've learned is she actually loves this intimate quality of the craft videos. She loves to share something while talking. She wants to create this quiet connection, like not a performance. So she's the part that helps me make videos that feel like sitting down with a friend and not like giving a lecture. At least that's what I hope. Here you can see after I have glued these little buttons on top of each other, I decide I would like to use them in opposite ways. The black one on the orange side and the orange one on the black side. And I'm going through it here with an owl. Be careful not to poke into your finger. Maybe use a mat, not like recklessly like I do here, but I'm careful. I'm careful and I'm poking a hole in there. And then once I've done that, I will do the same on each of the flaps. And because I'm really not good with eyeballing the middle of the flaps, I think I will go and get a ruler so that I can measure actually the middle. Okay. The next part that is quite fitting here, I would say, is part number 5. I noticed the part that wants every video to be perfectly timed, beautifully lit, and deeply meaningful. And that's definitely the part that also took the ruler and said, no, I really want to find the perfect middle here. She works hard, she edits late, she rewatches clips and adjusts the voiceovers 3 times sometimes. But what I've learned from her is that sometimes perfection is just anxiety wearing a neat outfit. Because she at times worries. Like, as I said before, that things are not good enough. And I find what I learned listening to her and talking to her internally, that's okay to upload something that is simply honest, not flawless. Something that I'm like here talking with you about the things I encountered while being a content creator, with flaws and ups and downs. And I even now already have a voice inside of me that says, oh, but there are so many more parts than the 10, so many more. Why do you reduce it to these 10 parts? And I smile, I hug her internally and say, it's okay, we know there are more parts, but for today we look at 10. And I'm using 2 gold brads here. They are very simple ones that you should get in any post office or stationery shop, at least here in New Zealand. And I'm securing the 2 buttons with that, and I make the closure out of it later. what I like to do first is covering the inside with little labels to write down the 10 parts that I encountered for this video when I looked what I learned being a content creator. In my free printable that I will link down below again, I had several fussy cuttable little labels, like fussy cut labels, and I cut them out before, and I would like to glue them all on top, no, not on top of each other, underneath each other, so that I have 10 of them. First, I'm pressing down the legs of the bread a little bit so that I have it really flat. And for now, maybe to see how many I have and if they all fit. I need to make sure that I'm not gluing over the crease, because otherwise I will not be able to close this little envelope at the end. And it is a little bit tight here. These are already 5 and I need 10. Maybe I can cut a little bit here from the bottom if I just cut a wavy line and then go over it with my Distress Oxide ink. It looks exactly like the other ones and it takes up less space. Yeah, I would like to do this. And I also notice I don't want to use one of the darker labels, so I am cutting just one of the wider ones just in half with wavy lines, and again with my Distress Oxide ink go over it. Can you see? Now they are just smaller and take up less space, and with that I can do 10 one after the other. Which brings me to number 6, my joyful maker. She is the part that giggles with delight when things come together, like here on this page. She loves layering pieces and hearing scissors glide through cardstock. She doesn't care about the algorithm. She cares about textures and colors. I've learned she's the keeper of joy, and when I let her lead, I always come back to why I started. But there's also number 6, my exhausted part. She comes sometimes up after my weekly uploading. She is the one that says, I can't do this anymore. She's not lazy, she's just tired of pushing. I've learned that her exhaustion is often a sign of protest, her way of asking for a rest, actually not to retreat entirely. So instead of quitting, I make tea, tidy the desk, and remind her and myself we can rest and return. And we can completely relaxed, step by step, glue things down. Here, for example, my art glitter glue came over the top of it. I don't know what's happening there. So I used my fingertip and just took the overflowing glue, and with that started carefully gluing down all the different parts of myself. As a next step, we create the closure for our little folder here, and I'm using a thin cotton thread and I'm just tying it around the bottom button, and then is a figure 8 around the top one and then down to the bottom one and again up to the top one. I made it a little bit tight so you can see that I'm struggling a little bit here, but that doesn't matter. While I'm doing it, I also noticed a part that I call my playful explorer. I noticed that she gets wildly excited about new ideas, new series, challenges, printables, kids. She loves it all. She's the creative spark who loves to start things. She also was the one who was the driver for this junk journal planner. But she sometimes forgets that every spark needs grounding. And I've learned that my consistency comes not from discipline, but from compassion and an understanding of the interplay of all of my parts. From letting my playful creative part and my steady and perfectionistic one take turns. Then that brings me to one more part number 9. I call her the wise witness. There's a part that has quietly grown through all of this. My observer. She noticed how much I have learned by simply creating in public. She smiles when a small comment says, "Your video helped me through a hard day." I've learned from her that impact doesn't always look like numbers. Sometimes it's one person crafting quietly somewhere, feeling a little less alone. This is a part that makes me feel humbled and very, very grateful for our community. Which brings me to number 10, myself. There's myself holding all of them. The ambitious one, the discouraged one, the joyful one, the shy, the tired. Myself understands that every video, every upload, every pause between them is part of one long creative conversation. She doesn't need to fix any of my parts. She just listens, smiles, and says, "Thank you for helping us to get here." So, after 22 months, 154 videos, 1,580 subscribers, and countless cups of tea, what I've learned is that being a content creator isn't about mastering YouTube. It's about meeting yourself. Every video becomes a mirror. Every view, a whisper from the world outside of my little world. And maybe the real monetization happens quietly in meaning, connection, and creative courage. Don't get me wrong, the part that wants to get monetized still wants that. So if you liked this video and like to support that part, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share these videos with others you think would like it. So here we are. If you have been creating too alongside me, whether you are uploading, journaling, or simply gathering the courage to start, I hope this reminds you that every part of you belongs at the table, even the ones still figuring it out. If you like, share in the comments what part of you has been showing up in your creative journey lately. I really would like to hear from you. And for now, I wish you a wonderful day and I hope to see you in the next video.